Okay, guys, if you're anything like me, we are probably sick of the talk about the May budget handout that was on Tuesday. But I am seeing a lot of TikToks talking about the bucket company is now dead, claiming that you'll end up paying 60% tax on earnings when distributed from a family trust. Now, the reason being that this is getting talked up is because of the minimum 30% tax withholding on a family trust. So this is a family discretionary trust, not a fixed unit trust. But the family discretionary trust is the most popular type for its flexibility. So with the minimum 30% tax withholding, uh, when received by an individual, they will receive a 30% non-refundable tax offset. So it does set a minimum tax rate of 30% when distributed from a trust. But the budget paper clearly states that it is for individuals only. So what we're seeing on the rounds of TikTok right now is that people are going 30% minimum carve out for family trust, goes to the bucket company. It is not a non-refundable credit. So therefore, the company is going to pay 30% tax as well, which means that we've got a headline tax rate of 60%. Now, I don't think this is the intended consequence, and in the papers as well, it says that it's got to go through consultation and work out how they're going to handle it all. Uh, they don't even know how they're going to handle franking credits yet in the budget paper. But let's have a look through this assumption. So we are distributing 100K in income. I want to keep it simple. Uh, individual tax rate is 19%, company tax rate 30%. And we're going to assume the bucket company doesn't get any credit relief. So if we went from a trust to an individual, they're paying 30% tax rate. So it doesn't matter that their marginal tax rate's at the 19%. We've got that new minimum rate of 30%. Whereas if the individual just owned that investment themselves, it would be at that 19% tax rate. So we're looking at 70 grand going to the individual, or if it was individually held, it would have been 81K. If we go from the trust to the bucket company, we will have that 30% withholding. The bucket company pays 30% as well, but then it's going to the individual, and the individual gets those franking credits. So the credits which is the tax paid by the company, and therefore the actual tax rate comes down to 43.3%. And so the reason being is we're paying our taxes, so we've got 100 grand, we're paying 30. It's still 100 grand distribution to the company, even though there was that 30% withholding. So we paid more tax, but we're getting that 30 grand distribution. Our tax rate was only 19%. There's no minimums. Tax withholdings for the bucket company, so it starts to play out at the end. Again, this is a worse off situation at 43.3% versus 30%, but I do think we're going to see in the consultation papers a little bit of tweaking there to fix that issue up. If the 30% paid on the trust becomes a non-refundable tax credit to the bucket company, the situation completely changes. And again, this goes to why bucket companies have always been in favor as well, due to passing through franking credits. So if we pass through the 30%, all of a sudden going through to a bucket company ends up being the exact same as going directly through to an ordinary person. And this is probably the gap that they are wanting to close. Just to show you, as our marginal tax rate goes up, so we're at the highest marginal tax rate now. We've turned off the pass through. So the individual obviously would pay 47%. Again, because the trust has only got a 30% tax minimum, we're going to be at the full 47% tax rate. And again, the bucket company, just because we don't have that 30% pass through, ends up worse again at a rate of 62.9. So even worse than what I've seen on TikTok saying that we're going to pay 60% tax. And that is because then we've got a higher marginal tax rate for the individual. Franking credit doesn't cover it all over. Have the pass through and everything's on the same level playing field. And I reckon that is where they want to get to, where we're on a level playing field. It's just not where we are at the moment. Again, none of this is going to happen until 1 July 2028. It's got to be legislated, it's got to be consulted, it's got to be passed. So let's not freak out about it. Let's not change structures yet. We're going to have 3 years to restructure without penalties. So let's not make any rash changes yet. Let's not get caught up in the TikTok hype. Let's see what the consultation paper is going to look like.